Hello, welcome to today's class. We will learn on how to pitch. This is especially helpful for those wishing to draft business plans or those who perhaps already have appointments booked to pitch in their ideas. I hope you find it helpful and enjoy. First off is the what. This denotes the type or field of business and service you're going to talk about. You are to give a brief background, also explain the market niche, or in other words, the target market. The next point to consider is the why. Now, this is where you do your gap analysis. Is the market probably unsaturated for the product or service you wish to offer? Do you see a sharp rise in demand for the product or service? In this section, you need to justify using logic or even both primary and secondary research. The next question is the how, and this covers two things. First off, what is needed to make the project a success? And secondly, the phases involved until the project comes to fruition. On the first part, on what is needed, is it, say, a piece of land? How many acres? Is it the workers? How many and with what skill set? Is it the internet connection? Is it the fertilizer? What kind? And how much? On the second part, the phases involved until the project comes to fruition. Say, for instance, if it's a farming project, each phase need to comprise of the activity, the time frame, and the resources required. Say phase 1 would be tilling the land. This will take perhaps 2 weeks. The resources required will be the human labor and tractor. Phase 2 would be fertilizing. The time frame would be a week. Resource required the human labor, and so on and so forth. The next question to look at is, what do you already have in place? Every investor and project financer needs to know how far you have come in order for them to analyze how to chip in. This is where you state the things you already have in place. For example, 10 acres of land, 3 workers. You, however, do not have a large enough storage facility. The next thing to cover is the when. Having established what you already have in place and allowed the investors or financiers to understand where they come in most cases financially. Say your project needs 10 million T shillings that needs investing. This is the point in which analysis needs to be made to establish the time frame in which the capital invested, the 10 million T shillings, will break even and hopefully begin to make profit. This part may include graphs depending on your product or service. The next section would be that of anticipated challenges. This is one of the most crucial components of a pitch since it adds or deducts to how feasible your project really is. It needs to cover both the micro factors as well as macro factors. Micro factors are those that have the most immediate effects, such as the law of demand and supply, and the macro factors which affect the business at a greater scale, which may include things like inflation due to the prices of, say, the imported fertilizers, the financial crisis, which could affect the business. Having anticipated the challenges, what then would be the solutions? What alternative means would you use instead of the imported fertilizer, for example? Also, to what extent would the forecasted challenges have affected the project at hand. These last two sections can also be referred to as risk analysis segments. You will notice that the aforementioned questions have covered most of what the SWOT analysis and PESTLE models cover. Thank you and all the best.